we have got a David Ornstein bomber. Florian Wirtz. Is he going Manchester City? Is he going Bayern Munich? And now Liverpool, the third team, are in the race. We're going to break down the report. We're going to predict where he may go. Let me know your thoughts down below on that, as well as Nico Williams. His preferred location, according to reports coming out from Spain, is Arsenal. And there is a lot more chance Nico Williams joins Arsenal compared to Rodrigo, who's also come out today saying something which we'll get into a little bit later. And also Manchester City. Morgan Gibbs-White is on the radar, as well as Reinders, as well as Florian Wirtz as well. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you check out the video from earlier today. This is the second transfer window. Plus, we got a third video coming out later today, which I'm not going to lie, I did lose my head at, which isn't the first time or the last time this season. Madison, Bergvall, and Kulusevski out for the Europa League final, but I'm not going to do that this video. Make sure you go down and drop a subscribe as well. 90% of you who watched the content yesterday, as well as earlier today, have not subscribed. So let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump straight into it. Now, David Ornstein, top 2 most reliable transfer journalist out there alongside Fabrizio Romano, has come out with an update saying Liverpool make contact with Florian Wirtz's camp to express interest in signing the player if he leaves Bayer Leverkusen. And according to reports coming out in Germany, he does want to leave Bayer Leverkusen. Now, Bayer Leverkusen's preference, according to people like Florian Plettenberg and Sky Sports Germany and other sources, is they would prefer to sell him, if he does leave, which he will, to a foreign club rather than obviously strengthen a rival. They've just lost Xabi Alonso. It looks like Jonathan Tah's leaving as well. Now Florian Wirtz. Bayer Leverkusen is keen on him moving to England, as you can see in the report. Liverpool's admiration, long-term standing, but unclear whether 22-year-old plans to exit Bayer Leverkusen or Germany. Now, look, Florian Wirtz is, let's just say what it is, one of the best playmakers in Europe right now. The guy is absolutely incredible. 10 goals and 12 assists in 30 games for Bayer Leverkusen. His stats, his wages his wages can practically be doubled or trebled if he goes to Manchester City. This season, 29 GA in 44 games. Last season, of course, won a Bundesliga with the first Bundesliga won with Bayer Leverkusen, went unbeaten throughout the league, ended up winning the DFB Pokal, played all the way up to the Europa League final, nearly done a treble. And it looks like Liverpool want to hijack that, or Manchester City, from Bayern Munich. I personally think Florian Wirtz, with Van Dijk, with Alisson, with Salah, Cody Gakpo, with Gravenberch, with McAllister, if he joins Liverpool, they are surely favourites for the Premier League title next season. You've also got Ryan Cherky linked. You've also got Milos Kerkez. You've also got Ant Nouri linked with Liverpool. Surely they would be favourites. If he joins Manchester City, right, this free £400 million rebuild that Guardiola needs, looking at Reinders, Rodri's back fit, Omar Mamouche, they're looking at bringing in 3-4 players. And let's be honest, Manchester City have to get their business done before the Club World Cup starts. Their first game for Manchester City in the Club World Cup is on the 18th of June against Wydad FC, which is only around a month away. And people forget the transfer window opens for about a week or so, and then it shuts, for the Club World Cup. Then it reopens again. Manchester City's first game is not that long away, just over a month. So they have to get their transfer business, of course, wrapped up. Morgan Gibbs-White is another one, heavily linked to a move to Manchester City. I personally think if they were to get Morgan Gibbs-White and Florian Wirtz, Morgan Gibbs-White would be a bench player for me. A midfield of Reinders, Wirtz, Rodri will be the best midfield in the Premier League. Up there with McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch. Up there with Declan Rice, Odegaard, Partey. Like, the Premier League next season is probably going to be the most competitive it has been ever. I honestly think the Premier League could spend between 1.3, 1.8, 1.6 billion pounds this summer. Arsenal are going to do 230 million, 250 million, maybe 300 million with sales. Man City look like they want to do spend. Chelsea want to spend. Liverpool want to spend, right? If Man United or Spurs win the Europa, both of those with the Champions League money will spend. And speaking of Arsenal, we just briefly mentioned those. I want to talk about Nico Williams. Nico Williams, a player that a lot of Arsenal players know, a player that a lot of Arsenal, a lot of Arsenal fans are interested in. But before we get that, breaking news while we're recording, coming out from Ben Jacobs, that Real Madrid have informed Bournemouth that they will pay the £50 million release clause for Dean Huijsen. So he's not going to join Arsenal and he's not going to join Liverpool or Chelsea. His first choice is Real Madrid. He's Spanish. He wants to play for the biggest team in the world. Long-term replacement. David Alaba is over 30 now. Rudiger is over 30 now. Militao has had his injury concerns. And you look at Dean Huijsen partnered up with Asensio, Real Madrid and Spain, a centre-back partnership they can build on for the next decade. But we will come back to this very, very, very shortly. Now, I want to talk about Nico Williams, a player that has been heavily spoken about. And according to reports, let me just bring up the report, there is more chance he joins Arsenal compared to Rodrigo. Now, Nico Williams, now I'm going to bring up two different reports, right? Coming out from Transfer News Live. Nico Williams has his heart set on a move to the Premier League with both Arsenal and Chelsea in the race. He's already begun to say his goodbyes to some of the Athletic Bilbao teammates. And there he is. Not the best of seasons from him. We know he's a big game player. Stepped up in the Copa del Rey last year for Bilbao. Scored in the final and the quarterfinal for Spain. Has the ability to turn it on when he needs. Got pace, got dribbling ability. Can finish. You put him and Victor Gyökeres in an Arsenal team alongside, Liverpool signing potentially Wirtz. Man City getting Reinders. The next season's Premier League, I'll tell you that now, is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Another report here coming out from TVR Football. Nico Williams' representative has insisted the winger is ready to head to the Premier League. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, and Newcastle have all their talks. I personally think Newcastle will sign Bremo. I personally think Manchester City won't go in for him. I don't think he will join Chelsea because he wants to join a Champions League club, which leaves Liverpool or Arsenal. Now, Liverpool have their heart set on Rayan Cherki, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, and Ait Nouri, plus Frimpong. Liverpool have their hands set on other transfers, which leaves Arsenal. I personally think he wants to move to Arsenal. I personally think if Arsenal come in for him, he will be an Arsenal player. And look at this. Someone said this to me earlier. Imagine if Arsenal went out, right? Obviously, forget Dean Huijsen because he's going to join Real Madrid. Juan Garcia, Zubamendi, Nico Williams, Victor Gyökeres. That wins them the Premier League. Zubamendi, Partey, Declan Rice, the central midfield options. Nico Williams, Martinelli, Trossard, Saka, Havertz, Jesus as forward options. Also, Wanyeri, Odegaard in the 10. Gyökeres, Havertz as number 9s. I do think they need to bring in another centre-back. I do think you'll see Zinchenko go. I do think you'll see Kivior go. But, mate, the transfer window is not open for another couple of weeks. And we have got stories coming out of our backside over the socials. David Ornstein Bombers. Fabrizio Romano also did a quote from Rodrigo basically saying that ignore the rumours. And he's also come out saying more indeed Huijsen, Real Madrid's contract proposal in players' hands now with discussions underway. Madrid also talked to Bournemouth about a 50 million release clause and they expect to pay the installments in 3 different installments. Also coming out from Romano, speaking about Rodrigo, the translation says, thank you for all your messages and concerns. I will be back soon. Stop making things up. Now, is that his agency or is that whoever he's represented by saying, look, ignore it, focus on yourself. I personally think if he is going to leave, it will be to the Premier League. But I think Nico Williams is more likely for Arsenal at this moment in time. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I will see you all soon. I am out.